Well, hi everybody. I've been getting nice to see you all this morning. I'm actually just going to show you how to make a hydrangea wreath. I've been getting a lot of questions about how do you do that, Francine? And so I thought I'd actually show you how to make a hydrangea wreath. So I'm just going to grab something and I'll just have a look at my cupboard. I think I've got it in the back here. That one I'm after. I'll just have to go and grab one. It won't be a moment. So hold fire. I'll be back in a tick. I had to grab something else. So anyway, I'm just doing a little pop-up today. I've been getting a lot of questions and I've been quite busy lately, so I thought I'd just make the time to show you how to do this, as I'm starting to prune back my hydrangeas, and the beautiful heads are starting to go antique, and I thought, right, it's an ideal time to show you how to make a very simple wreath with lots of other little options along the way. So just keep coming with the inquiries. I have been busy, so I haven't been able to get to them all lately, but just bear with me. But today anyway is a hydrangea wreath. Now there's many different frames that you can make for your wreaths. You can use your long trailing vines, soft twigs, branches to be able to make them by intertwining them and making a ring. But what I've decided to do, which is nice and simple for me, is I've actually got hula hoops, which I really like to use because they're plastic. They can go outside. If we're trying to be sustainable and environmentally friendly, of course, we want to use the twigs. But I don't mind using my hoops because I've got them anyway. So what I've done though is, this is just a hula hoop, and I've used the Stemtex tape. Now this is the brown one that I like to use. Now Stemtex tape is the brown paper wax tape, and it's a really nice finish. It just covers all of the, giving a nice even tone, but it also goes sticky, which is really what we want to be able to do when we're making our frames, so things are going to stick and hold onto it. That's why I use the tape. So I've taped all the way around by overlapping, going all the way around here. I've already done these because I've been using them for other frames as well. Sometimes I might just cross a whole lot of branches over and tie them on with the paper coated wire and end up with the beautiful big structures that I've made that I use in design work. So what I've done, got that done, taped, ready to go. Then what I've done is I've used just the jute string, and I've just bound over the top and just gone again around and around and around to end up with this finish. And it's a really nice texture. Again, it gives something for when you're tying on to be able to hold onto your frame. Also gives that rustic look as well. But there's other things you can use. You can shred typha, shred flax, the formiums, and wrap those around as well. I like to use shredded formium and let it dry, and then I wrap it, and that looks very kind of effective. Typha does the same thing, but I've just, because I've got the jute, I've used the jute string on that one. So I'll just put this aside for now. It's nice to see you all this morning. I'm just got a few things on today, and I thought, well, I'm going to prune my hydrangeas, so I might as well bake one of these while I've done a few this morning. So now I've got my string. Keep your string handy. So if you've got Oasis paper coated wire, the bind wire, I like to use that. But in this case, I want to use the jute string because most of us have that around, or we can easily go and access it. Now I've been and I've collected all my hydrangeas, and they're starting to get antique. They've hardened off. So there's several ways you can do this. You can either glycerine them, your hydrangeas, to make them all soft, or these ones here, I'm going to allow them to dry antique onto my frame. But there's other options you can do. So I'm going to just tie these on and show you how I work my way around. But if you decided, but maybe I want to use fresh in between, every now and then I will use one of these. So I may want to have fresh flowers mixed in amongst my hydrangea, and this is the time when you need to work your pattern out. So I make sure when I gather my hydrangeas, I have enough hydrangea that's going to completely overlap and go all the way around my wreath. But then I also make sure I have some of these as well ready to go. And I also cover these with my Stemtex tape because I don't want to see the green plastic. So I'll just cover these up. And like flowers, sometimes they come with the orchid vials on, so they're really good to do this too. Again, putting the tape around and just wrapping that around to cover the tube. And these are good because they're pointed. Right. This is the time when you'd probably look at, if you're wanting to later on maybe put some fresh flowers from the garden in amongst it, this is when you'd look at putting them in. So have a whole lot of these pre-done. So now that we've got that done, I'll just put that to the side. Now I've got my hydrangeas. Right, okay, where do we start? First of all, you get your jute string, Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see. Good afternoon to you from California. It's lovely to see you, and in Ireland, people in Ireland as well, in England, and around New Zealand and Australia. Lovely to see you this morning. So get your jute string. Now, I could leave this in one piece, but to start it off, I'm just going to try my first one on. And all I'm going to do is come right in high and under the neck of the hydrangea. And I'm just going to double tie it in a knot to get me started. Slide it down to make sure it's really tight around the head. Make sure it's nice and tight. I need to go around again, I think. See, my first one tied on. I always like to get the first one on and then I'm away. It just gives me a good starting point. This is where you can also decide whether you're going to, so what I'm doing is I'm just wrapping this around and tying it on and just wrapping it around the stem. And because it's got the jute around here, you're not going to see the binding. Another really important thing is to make sure you're always binding the one direction when you're doing this. Now I've got that first one bound on. I might decide I want to put in a tube, so I'll come over the top here. Just undo that a little bit actually. So I'll do it a little bit. And this is where I come and I just bind my tube on as well and get that all nice and firm so the tube's facing the way I want it to face, and then secure it. So now I'm going to make like a continual row, so just overlapping them. I love making wreaths. You can decide you might only want to do a half a wreath or a full wreath. It's up to you. You might, if you're going to do a half a wreath, I tend to have my flowers not following all the way around. I'll come here to the middle and then I'll start on that side and then come to the middle, so the heads are nicely grouped, but I'm going to go all the way around today. I've got plenty of hydrangeas. So then we just get our next hydrangea, lay it in, tuck it up nice and tight to the one you've just done, and go around. So for those that are overseas, yes, we're coming into autumn, and the colours starting to change, so this is when I like to start making my wreaths. Now I have all my hydrangeas pre-cut, just to overlap, and then you just keep working your way around, making sure when you're doing it it's nice and tight, nice and firm when you're working. Always pulling. I always keep my fingers tucked in underneath, holding the string in under here like this when I'm working, so that it's in between my two fingers and it's really held firm so that they don't slip. Been getting, Francine, can you please show us how to make one? So I thought, well, I'll just quickly show you, and then you can go and start pruning your hydrangeas today and start to make your wreath frames. Again, nice and firm, keep it very, very tight, always pulling it tight. You don't want it slack at all. Now, if you wanted to do a double wreath where you actually have the flowers going completely around the whole thing, I would spiral these in underneath as well. So I'd be going around like this, and then I would be bringing another head in from underneath. So I've got it, and just overlapping them like that, working my way around. But I'm just going to do the one side today because of time constraint. Really, don't want to bore you to tears. So again, working my way around. And this will dry absolutely beautiful. I can pop it in the garden. And other ideas you can use as another plant I like to make my wreaths from is this here. Is another one that dries extremely well, and I like to use sedum. Sedum is a really good one to make your wreath frames from. Now how simple is this? Just going around but taking your time. The key is to make sure you've got very good strong bindings, plenty of ties up high and under the neck of the hydrangea, and then following your way down the stem as you're working. If I wanted to be really fussy, it's because of time, I'm not going to be today. I'm just showing you, I would make sure that these are all evenly tied, but I'm just going to just do it like this morning. Got some weather coming, so I thought, well, I'll get out and do the hydrangeas this morning and show you how to make one of these, and then maybe you want to have a go. And I've been getting a few other inquiries too about how to do wire the wood flowers. So I'll show you how to make the one of those as well. It's got a bit of livestock coming in. A few spiders this morning. It's all right, our ones aren't dangerous here. Making my way right around. Yes, I haven't been around for a while lately. I do apologise for that. Just lots going on at the moment in my world, so keeping me pretty much out of mischief, which is a shame because a bit of mischief is really good, you know. So keep binding. And see, so you might decide you only want to do like a half a wreath, and that looks beautiful too, just like that. But I'm going to go all the way around. I have plenty of heads in the garden, so I thought, well, I'll make a full wreath, and then I'm going to pop this around the other side of the shed here and let the warm dry and let it dry off, and then I can do other things with it as well. So if you wanted to keep adding if you wanted fresh flowers, you just keep adding them. If you want to do this in fresh hydrangeas, as you're binding them, make sure that all the hydrangeas are in the plastic vials, and then you can just have a nice fresh one if that's what you're wanting. Just go around, coming in through here. Move my sedum out of the way. Got quite a big garden full of sedum. I do like the sedum. I hope I've got enough heads there. Pretty sure I have. Working my way right round. Keep pulling it nice and firm. And I'm all about making things that are easy to make, that don't take long, but you end up with a lovely impact. And a few of these hanging around the garden, rather gorgeous, I think. Put them by your front door, hang them inside if you wanted to. Depends where you want to put them, really. Make sure that's nice and firm. It's just not very tight. Just turn it around. Straighten that one up a little bit. Coming around. See, it's all starting to look rather lush, and I love the antique look. I might not quite have enough hydrangea, but that's okay. I might just break this one down a little bit, break it into a couple of pieces, might give me a bit more. Bring that one in through there. Nearly done. Just about there. So the time is actually doing the binding of the jute onto here, but the finish, I'm also about the finish at the back too. I like the back to look just as good as the front and nice and tidy. And if you were making other wreath frames, binding it like this, it gives a really nice effect. So just keep that a bit tighter. Might have to go over this again later, but that's okay. So normally I would take my time and make sure I've got very, very strong bindings all the way around so it doesn't move at all. And I haven't got that same hydrangea, but I have got another one here that I'll just pop in just to fill that void. Another hydrangea I really like to use that I've dried off. This is Hydrangea paniculata. This one here is Limelight, and I really, really like it, and it's dried, so they're really nice. I'm just going to cut a couple of these just to fill this hole here. It blends in anyway, so just so if you wanted to do dry, the same principle applies. Just keep winding it over as you're working. Put in from underneath. And I've got one more head here somewhere. I'll drop it. Here we go. And I'm going to turn that one the other way, so it makes it look like I deliberately did those two there. That could be the top. So then once you get to the end, cut your jute. Make sure you've wrapped it round so it's nice and firm and it's going to hold. one up in there like that. And then I'm going to do like a double tie here, so just making a loop, bring it in underneath and just hook it in so that you can tie it off. And that'll make it nice and tight and hold, like so. And that's how you make a hydrangea wreath. And it looks very, very effective, and it's very simple to make, and that will dry beautifully. Now, if I wanted to, I've actually been down and I've got some beautiful twigs and branches, so I could tie some branches in here, or seed pods. I really like to use seed pods. Put some seed pods in here, giving a little bit of rhythm to bring in through. Again, I would tie those on. Or there's other things like the preserved amaranthus. Bring a piece of preserved amaranthus in through here. I could tie the piece of amaranthus in through the top with a few flowers, and I'd end up with a really pretty design. So I hope you enjoyed that very quick lesson on how to make a hydrangea wreath. It's something that everybody could have a go at making. Flowers are so much fun, especially when you can go and gather them yourself from the garden. So I just would like everyone to have a wonderful day out there. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.